Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley, and we're playing Call of Warhammer Beginning of the End Times. It's a mod for Medieval 2 that brings to life all of the Total War Fantasy tabletop armies, and it is freaking awesome. I'm playing here with Indie Pride. We are both as the Tomb Kings. I'm going to be facing off against an Empire army. He is going to be facing off against a Dark Elf army. So these guys have a lot of cool units. My front line are going to be just light skeleton warriors. The models obviously look fantastic. Then I have a mix of other units, skeleton spearmen and black guardians of Zandri, which are also spearmen, just to counter cavalry charges down the center. I have Holy Sons, which are pretty good, kind of medium infantry. Although they count as light, they do pack kind of a punch. So those are my more stable main line. In the back, I have skeleton archers, just a single unit. I have some liches here, which are they're spellcasters who can cast spells at extreme range that really do lots of morale damage to the enemy. So there's the Empire deploying. I also have some skeleton horsemen in the woods. I have some mummies, light infantry hidden here, and then I have more troops on the right flank, much more heavy. So Tomb Guard, freaking awesome looking troops. I have Ushbadi, but they're actually pronounced Ushabti. These guys are freaking awesome. Look like something straight out of the Mummy. So they're going to be moving up heavy hitting troops. And then I have 2 Necropolis Knights and a unit of Bone Giants, which comes with 2 troops. So my army is charging forward. The enemy is moving forward with Outriders. I'm going to put this on pause just so we can cover what's going on here. On my left flank, Indie Pride is also going to be charging forward. Now he has a big line of skeleton warriors and mummies. You can see them charging in the back, and these mummies look really cool. This mod obviously is just beautiful. Some of his Bone Giants starting to take hits, but these guys can, they can take a lot of damage. And he's going to be charging the main lines, spread thin and going wide. On his left flank, he has some Necropolis Knights pushing up here. Another pair of Bone Giants pushing on this charge, and so he wants to close with the enemy. He has Ushabti pushing on this side, and he's pushing back these Dark Elf Knights. So both Indy and myself are going to be charging forward. He does have his Casket Guard, another very sweet unit, just chilling out in the back with these amazing swords. God, these units are incredible. The mod team did great, and he has a lot more Ushabti than I did, more Bone Giants, so that's pretty good. So what are we facing off against? Well, let's take a look at the Dark Elf force here arrayed in front of us. It's in a very defensive position, so they have these Dread Spears, and behind this they have Harganeth Executioners, heavy infantry. So the Dark Elves have a lot of heavy elite infantry, and they also have these Dark Shards, which are very, very potent crossbow units lining up the front. So he's going to be doing tons of damage. Just wants to get off those preliminary shots, targeting our Bone Giants first and foremost, and then he's going to fall back to these Dread Spears. Again, very strong spearmen. So that's the front line. Over on the right flank, he has some Amazonian troops, a lighter contingent here. Ooh, Witch Elves. These are very, very powerful light infantry. And in the back, the Cold One Knights. These guys ride on somewhat the equivalent of these dinosaur dragon looking dudes. He's got some Harpies on this flank as well. So definitely this mod does not skimp out on extreme units. And then over in this stake position, he has a ton of these Reaper Bolt Throwers. So this force is going to be heavily entrenched, and they're going to try and weather the storm of Indie Pride's charge. And he has some Dark Riders, so a lot of preliminary skirmishing taking place here as Indy gets his shots off. The Tomb Kings, oh my god, look how much damage was just wrought with that first volley. But yeah, the Tomb Kings are not known for their range, so we're going to be all about charging into the front ranks. So the enemy's going to be pulling back to their spears. And here comes the fatal charge. Oh my god, look at this. So freaking cool. I can't believe I had not tried this mod before, but it is just absolutely stunningly beautiful. Seeing all these troops charge forward. This is a scene out of the Mummy. So here comes this charge. On the flank over here, I'm going forward towards the Empire. I do have my Skeleton Warriors light throwaway troops who are going to be absorbing charges from the enemy. Ragnar's Wolves charging forward on both flanks. More of my Holy Sons and elite troops. Mostly I'm going around the flank, but he has Demigryph Knights also going to be charging forward. And then he has this massive artillery position. Hellstorm rocket battery is going to be unloading at my guys point blank, but also taking out a fair amount of his dudes in the process. Empire mortar also going to be firing away. And so I'm trying to close in on this position. He brings in his dismounted Reiksguard. I'm trying to keep my guys back, and you can see him trying to reform. So my front ranks have been torn to pieces, but look how much collateral damage I've forced just by throwing in some cheap units to block him up. Meanwhile, I'm bringing in the rest of my heavy-hitting troops over on the right flank, the Ushabti, to chase away these Outriders. And I've actually committed some Bone Giants up through the center, charging through Knights of Origo. So I'm getting into the tearing into the flank here, going for a massive flank maneuver with a lot of my guys. My Necropolis Knights, another cav, chased off the enemy cav. So I'm going to be doing a big right sweep. My center, however, has pretty much collapsed. I am going to be throwing in some Tomb Guards and other units to reinforce the center, but his artillery just shredded my guys, and he has a lot of units in the back. Master Engineers with repeater handguns. So this position is very important to me. Braganza's Besiegers, I believe those are from the Dogs of War. So this is a position I desperately need to crack, but I just can't break through the center. So my only hope is to get around the flanks. I've pulled in my Bone Giants, and they're going to be crushing through this position, but the Empire still has some troops, dismounted Reichsguard, and High Elves actually going to be here to reinforce the Empire's forces. I'm now crashing into the flank, but the Empire has a lot of troops that can hold out for a long time. So while my center has pretty much collapsed, I've now gotten in on the flank, and we'll see if I can end up surrounding the Empire. I'm now into the mix of his unit. I have cavalry charging in, so it's not looking too good for the Empire. Let's take a look at what's happened on Indy's side. He's charged up through the front. The Bone Giants have helped clobber certain positions, but at the same time, he's getting a lot of losses. Indy is pushing through the center, the front lines, and now he's finally able to get these Dark Shards, which are waiting out in the rear lines. Blackguard being committed. And Indy has lost a lot of troops on the charge here, which is kind of the strategy of the Tomb Kings. So we've carved out a hole in the center, but now we're going to be subject to countercharges by the enemy's cav, and we don't have much of an answer to this. We're pinned down, so Indy's getting charged in here. He also has a bunch of these Dark Riders. The maneuverability of both the Empire and the Dark Elves here are going to be biting us in the rear. So we're pushing through, but now that we're committed, you can see this is where things are not going well. This, again, entrenched position not being taken out. This is freaking cool. Ooh, and it looks like Indy does lose one of his Bone Giants there. But one of the nice things about the Tomb Kings is being undead. They don't suffer from penalties like that, so we're not going to rout. We're going to fight to the last. So the Dark Elves have held this side. Their Cold Ones are helping to rally their forces, but we still have a lot of heavy Ushabti in the mix who can help defeat those. But the main problem we have is a couple lingering Dark Shards, which are very, very effective crossbows, going to be picking away our units. So this side is pretty much ground into a thin line on both sides, although I think we do have an advantage. Bone Giant's still alive, Ushabti's still alive. Yeah, here's these Bone Giants still running around. He's going to be crucial. Just one unit left, but still that's going to be important to knocking out some of the enemy knots. They do have a couple Dark Shards still roaming around. We need to make sure we clean those up. On my side, now Ushabti have been caught up against the Empire with halberds. This is an excellent counter to me. Our bonus versus large and all that's going to be doing lots of damage to my big troops, and I only just barely got to his artillery position. In the center, I've been hit repeatedly by hammer and anvils from his demigriffs and other units, but I brought back my archers, my spearmen, my cav, so I've been able to kind of hold back the enemy from attacking my rear, rallied, and I'm going to be charging once more into the breach, getting into the rear of his guys. Now, the problem on my side is I have weak troops facing off against elite Empire troops, and so what I need in this position is Ushabti. I need Bone Giants. I need elite units, and at this point, I'm kind of lacking in that department. Meanwhile, the Empire still has some gunners, which I'm trying to chase after, but he's going to stop me with some of those halberdiers, so I need to really take out his ranged units. Master Engineers, 5 of them still alive. They had positioned themselves on the flank to try and shoot away at my guys. Empire Mortar Crew still alive. This is going to be a problem once I start to get back on their guns, having reclaimed this. Yep, you can see they're going to start turning the guns. And so on this side, it's pretty much going to be at a standstill, although, like I've been saying, the Empire has a lot of crack troops, and my general does go down to some Dark Shards. You can see them there in the distance firing at me as I try to assist Indy Pride, but the Empire just has Too many ranged units left, too many elite units left, and I don't have enough elite troops left. So it looks like this side of the battlefield is going to go to the Empire. But I'm going to try and take out as many men as I can. And I still have some mummies and light troops, and I still have some archers here firing upon the enemy. We have a chaotic little piece of engagement here with some guys frozen in place. Over in the distance, Indy's bone giants. Ooh, that is devastating. So you can see just how important these dark shards are. They're cheering on. This is what I tried to go after with my general. You can see him here, but he got shot to pieces as I tried to take out the enemy dark shards. So these guys are an important final feature of the Dark Elf army, which is otherwise pretty much ground down. Indy does have a bit of an advantage. One bone giant still left, holding down the harpies, holding down the dark ones, and this kicking ability here seemingly doing a ton of damage. We still got some Ushabti, very good troops, and then this position was taken out after much hardship. No, looks like they still have 7 crewmen still alive. So yeah, this is great. This battle is freaking epic. Look how much carnage this is on the battle. It's going to come down to nothing. The percentage of allies lost is 92%. The enemy has lost 83%. Now we did start with more troops than the enemy, so the balance bar is somewhat even. Still pretty much dead center. Only a couple units still left running around, so it's going to be a matter of just rallying the last couple troops. And like I said, these dark shards here going uncontested is going to be taking out the Ushabti. Let's watch those shots as they come in here, doing a lot of important HP damage. And these pesky Dark Riders also armed with crossbows, I believe. They're going to book on out of there. Looks like we do still have some mummies left, so they're gonna. Yep. Okay. Perfect flank on the enemy. Ushabti charging into the rear. So this Dark Shard force is taken out. So Indy's side, I would say, is kind of won, but you'll notice there's still enemy calves skirmishing with him. Ooh, and we do take out the enemy general, so that's a nice pickup. But you do maybe hear some explosions nearby. And that is because the Empire mortar crew is back at it. They've retaken one of the final remaining guns. My troops have been essentially cleaned up and finished off. One single Demigriff knight here, still alive with the enemy general, doing a lot of damage. And these guys look way goofy. The models look so funny in this one. But they're still just as ferocious as the other Total War. The official Total War Warhammer game. I still have some Ushabti, so I'm going to be throwing them in here just to keep the enemy tied down, prevent them from going to assist the Dark Elves. And where are my archers? I know I still have some archer units left somewhere on the battlefield. I have almost nothing left, but ooh, High Elf archers actually positioning themselves in the back of my Ushabti. I'm going to try and get my Holy Sons to suppress them. Doesn't look like that's going to go well. So yeah, I can't find my archers. I know they did manage to stay alive to the end of the battle, but at the same time, I only really had like 2 or 3 of them left. Ah, here he is. Here's my archer unit. The single skeleton archer still standing on the battlefield, looking at his comrades here. They died a second death. And so I have essentially one single unit left, and he's going to try and fire at the enemy. They are firing at me. But here comes a mortar shell just firing into the mix. And so my side of the battlefield cleaned up. 2 Ushabti left. I did want to go after these Dark Elves, or sorry, these High Elf archers, but was killed by the incoming dismounted Reiksguard. So I would say I'm pretty much out of commission at this point. And so it's up to Indy Pride to come into the back. He does so with his Bone Giant. And he's now going to be charging down the field with some Ushabti. Although, enemy cavalry still running around, picking off some of our units, I believe. No, actually this may have been taken out unless they've been able to move forward. Okay, the artillery is suppressed, which is good, but cavalry is still coming in through the back. So Dark Elves not ready to call it quits. Let's see, what are they firing at? Oh, the single Ushabti force trying to catch up with the battle, but the main action is going to be taking place over here, where we're trying to take out the few remaining Empire troops. So I whittled them down as much as I could. Here comes Indy with the saving grace, the last final hope for us. Bone Giant and several Ushabti. And I really do like the color scheme for all these forces. The little sound effects that you get, you'll have horns blaring and the different calls of the different forces. Very, very epic and cool stuff. Bone Giants do, as huge units, have a bit of a hard time charging through units that are slippery, like horses. So here you saw Indy tried to charge through the horses and get them, but as a result, it makes for a sloppy charge. So it's almost best to just leave them in the mix of infantry and let them stomp, get off their animations. And he's trying to chase away that cav, make sure they rout. It's exhausted at this point. He just wants to make sure that the missile cavalry is not shooting into our rear, because that is what's going to be doing a lot of damage to our forces if they can keep shooting at our Ushabti. Finally, there goes the Empire mortar crew, going down with one big swing. Ooh, still getting up, a couple of them. But watch this Bone Giant. Once he finally settles into a routine of doing lots of damage, I believe it's the stomping animation. Yeah, look at that, 4 or 5 guys in a single hit. One of these forces is going to try and stand up, and he gets smushed. So once that animation takes place, and if it's facing the right number of troops, it's going to be devastating. Watch that. Yep. 6, 7 or so of these guys going down for the count, exhausted and shattered. So that is the power of the Bone Giant. Definitely a force to be reckoned with here at the end. So Indy is carving through these remaining elite Empire forces. If only we'd have been able to keep 1 or 2 more Bone Giants left till the end, we could have cleaned up these elite Empire forces. Because, man, against only infantry, we're going to do work here. But that's essentially it. A battle that started off with thousands and thousands of troops down to a single Bone Giant fighting off Empire forces. And, of course, this scraggly, chicken-looking Demigriff Knight riding general here is trying to rally his troops. Some Dark Elves also in the mix, but it is not going well. Only a couple remaining enemy skirmishers, the besiegers, and then these goddamn high elf reinforcements helping out are going to be doing some crucial damage to this Bone Giant if they hope to win, although I don't see any blood smears on him, so I think that does indicate that he's still at good health. He just has to keep getting off these nice hits. Oh no, I spoke too soon and he goes down. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, that is basically it. Like I said, the little details in this mod are incredible. You saw the banner on this troop. We don't even have that in the official game. So sad. But this is definitely a mod worth checking. I will link below where you can find out how to download this. Tons and tons of fun. I mean, look how many troops we fielded here. You saw the variety, you saw the epicness, you saw how awesome this was, and I will definitely be uploading more of this in the near future. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let's take a look at some of the battle results. So Indy Pride here, most of the kills being inflicted by the Bone Giants and the Ushabti. So Indy has played a fair amount of this, so he had a pretty good build for the Tomb Kings. So definitely those guys being cost effective. I myself was playing kind of for the first time, so I didn't quite know what to bring. My Knight's doing pretty well. I brought Skeleton Warriors, which got nothing. I brought these Liches, which had I been firing the whole game, I probably would have been more effective with them. But the rules were technically not to bring any magic casters, so I had them off fire at will for the beginning part of the battle, and then I tried to snipe with them later on because the odds weren't going in my favor, but they got charged by enemy cav in my rear. So overall, they didn't end up being too effective, and these are very expensive units, so I think they would have been better put to use as a Tomb Guard unit, a Ushabti unit, or even another Bone Giant unit, and I think we could have done way better on my flank. You saw how crucial that guy was at the end. My single Bone Giant here was 72 kills, and some other units doing fairly well. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more, and leave your recommendations for what you'd like to see in the future. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.